Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Voles, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. Oh, my goodness. Almost got my Yes, indeedy shirt on today. Actually, I was looking for my Yes, indeedy shirt and remembered that it's in the RV. So I did not. I was going to wear my Yes, indeedy shirt today, but hey, we'll just have to go with Yes, indeedy and think about having it on. So I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna wear my Yes Indeedy shirt today because just felt like putting it on, It was gonna be one of those Yes Indeedy days. But anyways, hey, appreciate you guys being here with me. Looking forward to a great show today. Following Eric Jones up. We had a great show today, and Daniel was a little bit late. We had a little technical difficulty, but anyways, I think we got her squared away now, so we're good to go. We're good to go, and appreciate you guys tuning in here on Turfs Up with us each and every day, and we love it, love it, love it, and be sure to share it and do your friends and your colleagues and your competitors and your every whatever you want to call them. Just do them a favor and get them hooked up with Turfs Up Radio. A lot of knowledge and education is shared here on Turfs Up. A lot of different personalities involved and different ideas, and most importantly, experience that's shared here, because as you guys know, I mean, our whole goal is to elevate and educate the industry, and we'll do it one company at a time, starting with yours. So, and then you guys help me with mine. So, hey, it's a win-win. They say there's not win-win-wins, but there really is win-win-win situations. You win, I win, and the industry wins. So anytime you can build something like that, it's going in the right direction. So appreciate you guys listening, and hope everybody had a good, great, whatever type of adjective you want to use to explain it. But time off, holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it was. I mean, whatever you believe in, whatever you like to do. Hopefully it worked and went good for you, and went good for your family. And sometimes it can get a little chaotic, and certainly at the end of the day, though, what's it all about? It's about family and getting together, and everybody's saying, "Hey, how you doing? Glad to see you. Hadn't seen you since last year." In some cases, that's the way it works. But hey, you know what? We're gonna got a lot of good things we're going to touch on today. Want to talk a little bit about professional courtesy. We're going to talk a little bit about that, as well as something funny I saw on TV yesterday. I wanted to share with you guys. Some of you might saw it. It was an episode of Cops. I'll talk about something that was funny with that, and also what we get into this time of the year, and that can be different for each and every one of us, and is different, but there is similarities as to, hey, what are you doing in the end of quarter four as you're going into Q1? I mean, that's the reality of it. As much as each and every one of us have different things going on, we've got similar things that we need to be thinking about as well. But I hope you got a little something that you like uh, as a gift if you do gift exchanges. And heck, for some of us, just waking up was a good enough gift, and that's where it all starts, right, Dan? So be thankful that you woke up. God gave you another opportunity to wake up, and some people didn't get that. So, but I hope you got something. If you do gift exchange or whatever, um, hope you got something you liked. And if you didn't, hey, there's always regifting, and there's always opportunities to take it back. I did see where a lot of companies now, and I saw it again today on the news this morning while I was getting ready. Um, a lot of companies now are charging a restocking fee on items returned. And I think they said Best Buy could be as much as $29 for a restocking on electronics. So it was crazy, but most of them were like to $14, I think they were saying. So I don't know. I'm just curious if any of you guys have run into that where you've tried to return something and they had a restocking fee involved. Good morning, Seth. Appreciate you listening, my friend. Hope everything went well for you and your family um, last week and now and every day. But we seem to point it out this time of the year, saying, "Hey, man, hope you had a great holiday." So we always do. We always wish everybody has a great holiday, and Santa came to see you. And yeehaw! So had my Santa shirt out several times. I got a couple of Santa. Not really Santa. Well, one does actually have a picture of Santa on it, but a couple of my Santa shirts out, and always get a lot of compliments on those from adults. I wear them to adult events as well as some of the kid plays and things like that. Grandkids, doing their plays and stuff like that. They always get a kick out of them. So, and I know some of you guys have been under the weather. I know King Darren's been under the weather, and Kyle's a little bit under the weather here today, and it's a lot of that going around. It's that time of the year, you know, and I think they said, the flu strand this year's got kicking butt on some people. So, Corey, good morning to you, my friend. Hope everything went well for you guys and your family, and most importantly, your kids. I know Corey's got several little ones, so hopefully that went good. Christmas went good for you guys. Christmas was outstanding for me, just having the opportunity, to get my kids over for a little while, and we're just everybody getting a few things to open up, and that was awesome, and just getting to see everybody, man. It sounds a little cliche, I know, but and I know I'm kind of off on a tangent right now, but we'll get the bus straightened up here in a minute. But you do really just appreciate the time with your family more than the gifts. So as you get a little bit older, it's always fun to get something. I ain't gonna minimize that too. It's always cool. Oh yeah, thanks, man. That's always nice too. But most importantly, and I never really did understand this to start getting a little bit older and kids and grandkids and that whole thing going on, where you really just wanted to. The main goal was just spending some time with your family, and that is a good part of it. And it helps rejuvenate you for the business as well. So we'll talk about that side of it. We had a outstanding day yesterday here weather-wise in Louisville. I think we hit a record high of 75 or something. I don't know. It was crazy warm. 73, 74, 75, somewhere in there. And but it was a record high. Previous to that, it was like 70, and that was about 4 years ago, I think. Daniel actually grilled yesterday. So, yeah, y'all grilled steaks yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, it worked out well. It was probably the hottest coals I've ever had. I don't know if it's coincidence or if it was the wind keeping
them hot
going, but
yeah. They didn't last long, but they were hot. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the wind would keep them going hot and get them rocking and rolling. So
yeah. Actually had to open my grill while I was cooking them.
Really?
Cooking the steak.
So the heat was rolling then, wasn't it?
I think the temperature got up to like 530 almost.
Oh my. Yeah, rocking and rolling. So how'd your food turn out? Pretty
good. They were very thick steaks.
Oh,
so
I got you.
It wasn't hard because I had that thermometer that I use.
Yeah.
To do it.
Get them
to your precision, but it was different. Like it was almost hard to trust it, because they were so thick. I was like, oh my gosh, it's never had cooked anything that thick before. So
yeah, they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
How you like to eat your steak?
I'm kind of leaning more recently towards like medium rare.
Really?
But it just really depends on maybe type of steak too. I don't know. But I did that one more towards medium just because we had different thicknesses. They were all pretty similar, but different thicknesses and different, meals that we're going to have them for. So I cooked them closer to about medium.
I got you.
medium well even by the time you take them off and they kind of sit there for a while. But
Well, you grilling out today?
definitely not. Definitely not. I
We
cooked
went
about
from
6 yesterday, so I'll have some leftovers.
went from what 70, we'll call it 74. I don't know, remember what it was for exact, but uh from 74 yesterday, and currently we're sitting at 23,
Feels
and
like what, 12?
the feels like 7.
Oh my goodness, that's
So
insane.
yeah, the feel like is 7 degrees. So
Wow. That's
there
a
there
pretty
we are.
that's a pretty crazy wind chill. And I know the winds are going, pretty good, but that's a pretty aggressive drop in the
Yeah,
difference there.
yeah, it is. I mean, and it is what it is enough to, we're like, because we don't have any of our crew outside today with the feels like it's 7. I mean, if we were doing snow, we would be, but I
Right.
mean, it's not snowing. No sense in subjecting, them to that. As much as we want to get things done, and y'all have heard me talk about it over and over the last couple of weeks, saying, "Damn, if we could just got that 75 in there today, we could have knocked some stuff out." I mean, it just been a good day. You wouldn't even needed a hoodie. Matter of fact, Katie was in shorts yesterday.
Yeah.
She was rolling around in shorts. Anybody could have been. There were a lot of people
Yeah.
out in shorts yesterday. So, uh, but hey, just curious what you guys might be into today. What are y'all doing? Are y'all trying to get some things done, or into the well, I may be better off not doing anything today and just waiting for a little better day. I know tomorrow we're going to get some things done here. The wind's going to subside. It's going to be cold, or colder, but nothing crazy. It's just I'm not going to have people out doing lawn applications, and certainly we still got a wind advisory till 1 o'clock today. So I mean, it ain't like you can be out doing leaves uh, this kind of weather either. So it is what it is. But anyways, hey, yesterday talk about being nice, man. I thought, man, this would be a great day to take the Mustang out. You know, so I hop in the Mustang and go to start, and it wouldn't start. I'm like, oh my god, it had sat there long enough
Yeah.
to where, and Tabitha and I were talking about it last night. I couldn't. I don't remember the last time we had it out. We think it might have been back in September sometime. So, and I always do try to hop in it about once a month just to keep that from happening. But I guess I just haven't.
Yeah. It's been
And
just not a good December to get out.
so one of two things I got to start doing: either one, put a complete battery disconnect switch on it, and because same like they got them on RVs, so when you get out, there's no drain at all, like even like your clock battery and stuff like that. Because even though it's very minimal drain
Mm-hmm.
for something to sit there 3 months, you know, a battery's only got so much reserve capacity. So anyway, jumped the Mustang, took it out driving for about 3 hours or so. Ran into Daniel and Caitlin here at the shop. They were in here. Daniel would come by to make some copies, and I was coming this way to meet Kyle. We had to cover up a salt pile, and so Daniel and Caitlin helped me cover up the salt pile. That was fun in the wind, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because it was. Thank God we had 3 of us, because we could have had 4. I mean, but 3, we got it. We got her finished. We got her covered up, but and really didn't rain that long. Corey says they're cutting grass and trying to get ahead on their mulch. Sunny and 63 there today. Nice.
That's
Good
crazy.
good day. Good day to be out and about, Corey, for sure. But and I'm glad you got a nice day to do it. That's the thing. I'm glad you got a really nice day to do it. But looking forward to that. Also yesterday I found something for Daniel that was supposed to go in his stocking.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm just curious, does that happen to you all? Where you're going through stuff, and you're like, oh my God, I was supposed, that was supposed to go to my significant other or my kid or whatever. And, but they're dark chocolate covered espresso beans. And, and so I got those and brought those in today for Daniel. So it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. So, you
There you go.
got a present another day. But don't get too excited, everybody. I mean, it's just like, 30 or so of these little chocolate covered beans that were in a little pouch, little plastic bag with a cute little bow on it. So, anyways, those those are pretty strong. If I remember last time you had some, I tried one.
They have a
They,
coffee flavor, yeah.
yeah, pretty strong coffee flavor. But there's not like I asked Daniel. I said, "How many of those you got to take?
Yeah.
Or eat, not take. You, you eat them,
It
but
was like
it's
90 in a strong cup of coffee. It was like equivalent to like 90 beans.
yeah.
So
So
that's a cup. So most people, drink a couple cups per day. So you
be
have to
out.
drink, or you have to eat quite a few beans to equivalent to be equivalent to.
Yeah, but before it'd be a
That'd be a
problem.
lot of chocolate too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's true too. Absolutely. So, but hey, I appreciate you hopping on with me, Daniel. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. Daniel, you had some good conversation this morning, and appreciate that as always. And if I'm not mistaken, I was putting my show together, but I heard you say something about you hope people have picked up a little something in your. Did you say 950 episodes? Oh, but yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
somewhere around there, 950, 960. I think it's in that
that's
range.
incredible, man. That's a lot. That's incredible, and I would like to say that I would think everybody's got something, you know. Um, and I think, and I'd be curious, not just with yours, but the misconception I had before I start listening to you, here all the time was that just because I was outside working didn't mean I didn't need an additional workout, if you will.
Yeah.
And that still is incredible to me to think about it that way.
Yeah. Well, trying to think. We were we were at Rick and Mary's. Oh, we were talking about Christmas at Rick and Mary's and how Mom's dad got Rob or Rick a set of weights for Christmas one year, and he hid them in the barn, or Santa put them in the barn, and then he went to retrieve them, and so he was bringing them to the house, and bringing these weights to the house, and get up and blah blah blah, and they were saying that he was just talking the whole day about how sore he was and that's like a great example. In my head it sparked this idea of like, oh, I should talk about that on the show, which I'm glad you mentioned it. But of how your body gets used to what you're doing. He was a very active person, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. He was a farmer in the field.
yeah,
Farmer.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
very active, in good shape, ate pretty good. I'm assuming he wasn't like focused on his diet, but he was eating, real whole foods most of the time.
Right.
And so in pretty good shape. Um, but just that one bout of doing something different made him sore. And that's to the point of you can do something every single day and your body will get used to it. If you want to achieve greater goals, whatever that is, building muscle, losing fat, combination of both, building cardiovascular health, you have to do something outside of what your body is used to. So, yes, what you said is 100% correct. And diet is a big part of what does hold this industry back because it, like you said, it's the fast food and the gas station food and the all the kind of things that also hold us back.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things we got to try to change as an industry is what we're eating during the day.
Yeah.
Because, like I've said it on here a lot, Daniel, you're out and you run a certain route, especially guys that are doing a lot of mowing, let's say. Doesn't have, it's anything, but where you're running the same route each week, you got your stops that you make. Like we had Taco Tuesdays. I remember, me and Taco Bell had a great relationship on Tuesdays, and whatever. And you had a restaurant on Wednesday and one on Thursday, and whatever. And there was very little of, hey, let's pack a lunch
Right.
Let's take something decent to eat, you know.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the flip side of that is, you know, you don't think about it and you don't feel bad. You
Right.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
is it because of the exercise?
It does play a role, but it's going to be a struggle to be healthy in general. Weight aside for a second, if you aren't eating right. Like it's almost impossible. It's probably over time it is impossible. You can get away with it for a short period of time and everybody's short period is different, but if you aren't eating whole foods and healthy foods and you're eating a lot of fast food and you're eating a lot of gas station food, even if you think, "Oh, I'm eating a chicken sandwich," from wherever and
Yeah,
grilled chicken, that grilled chicken sandwich is still nowhere near as good as what you're going to bring yourself
from home.
from home.
Yeah. And and here's what's going through my mind as you're talking about this is running our businesses the same way. We can get into some bad habits and continue to do the bad habits, but that's why the life expectancy of our businesses is relatively short term compared to what they could be when you look at the statistical average in our industry. You know, we get into bad habits of not understanding how to properly bid a job or understand our costs to do a job. We're not getting into all that today, but that connection I just made right there, while you were talking about it from a, hey, you can get by with it for a certain length of time, and whatever that time is different for everybody. And I think the same thing happens within our businesses. We can have bad habits, and those bad habits can come in a lot of different uh, forms,
Yeah.
whether it's bidding, whether it's contracts, whether it's marketing, advertising, selling, whatever it is. I mean, fill in the blank, lack of goals. And I mean, just the list goes on and on and on, what those habits could be. So you're sustaining yourself kind of like eating the hot dog at Thornton's or Wawa or whatever, you're making it through, but how long are you going to make it through?
Yeah.
And what changes do you need to make within your business to not only make it through, but to make it through better? And I think that's what I want to touch on today a little bit is what are some things we can do differently within our businesses. People want to have, you look at the first of the year and you say, okay, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to exercise more. Well, let's look at our businesses too and say, hey, what can I do different within my business now? I mean, not that you got to wait for a new year to roll around. It's just kind of like being healthier. You can implement it any day, right? I mean,
Yep.
there's no, hey, it's got to be first of the year because honestly, I mean, the failure rate for certainly weight loss goals and dietary goals has got to be incredible for people
Yeah.
that start at first of the year, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah. I think it's the 18th of January is like known as like failure day or something like that because so many people have stopped
it's when they quit,
chasing
you
their
know.
resolutions.
So let's look at that from a business perspective and ask ourselves, what can we do different this year? And not in March or April, but what can you start doing differently now? Because it's like anything, the sooner you start it and you implement it, the sooner it becomes a habit, right, Daniel? I mean,
Yeah.
I hear you say that too. It's like you got to do what you got to do something for
It's different.
it.
Some
Probably
it depends on the habit too. It depends on a lot of factors, but it's actually a fairly long amount of time. If it is one of those tougher habits, it can even be up to like a year to
before
before it becomes not that it won't become easier, but before it becomes like truly second nature.
where you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And here's what I would like to see people think about, and you guys think about, and specifically you to think about, uh, listening to me, is let's look at our cost structure, and we talk about it a lot here on Profit Time, without a doubt. But that is generally what's broke with most companies is our cost structure. And that's what I would like you to make a focus on this year is to ask yourself, hey, what am I doing well within how I calculate my cost? What am I not doing so well? And what have I implemented to do things well from a cost basis? Not what I'm charging from a cost basis. Because what happens, Corey said first thing he's going to do is drop bi-weekly clients. And, I just had a gentleman in here the other day, right before Christmas, that's starting consulting with us this year and here shortly. And that's one of the things that we discussed with his company is, that hopefully will be one of his goals is to change and get out of the biweekly mowing business predominantly. And that certainly is something that could be done and should be done. And you give yourself a lot of reasons why it makes sense, but I can give you a lot of reasons why it doesn't make sense too. Now, and so that great point, Corey. I mean, that really is a great point. And it took me a while to gain the confidence at WLS to say, hey, yeah, we're just not doing it. I mean, that's how it's going. We're not going to do it. And so those changes need to be made, but it's little things that we can change as far as even before we decide who we're cutting out. And see, that's how you can decide, Daniel. When you truly understand costs to do a job, that's when it's easy to look at a specific customer group, if you will, and say, I need to get rid of them. Excuse me. They don't make sense. And that's what I want you to do with your company is understand your break-even point, not what you're charging, because once you understand your break-even point, then what you're charging will be important to you. So you don't look at what you're charging now and saying, I'm okay, I'm not okay. If it's not being driven by cost per hour of operation, that's where it gets convoluted. And that's what it needs to be driven by. Pricing has got to be driven by cost and break even point, desired profit margin. And once you understand that, then a lot of other things become important to you that you don't understand that are important to you until you understand where that break even point's at. Um, uh, The only regret Corey will have is not doing it sooner, but realizing it's time to make that decision is a great thing. And I think that's a really good point. I think that's somewhere where we all get. When we do realize and we say, man, I gotta make that change, and I need to make that change. And so yeah, that's what the goal should be this year. At least one of them. I don't know if it's on your to do list, if you will. We'll call it a to do list, but it's certainly something that I think we all need to think about. Is constantly looking at what are the cost per hour of operations for our company. Know that you're going to have different costs for different services. My break even point on mowing is going to be different than fert and weed and snow and on down the line of all the services that we offer. And so will yours. And once you understand that it's not a one size fits all, bless you, Katie. Once you decide for yourself that it's not a one size fits all, then you will do better yourself. And that took me 9 years to understand, and then a few more years to implement and get things squared away. I was lucky. I survived the pain. I've survived the pain by the grace of God, I guess. I don't know if I really by the grace of my parents, quite honestly, in my case. But we got to make those changes. So that's one thing that can be on the agenda for making the change. Eric this morning touched on something too, and this is like going from point A to point B in a completely different fashion, but he was talking about snow preparedness And, we talked a little bit about that here on my show as well before. But Eric brought up a really good point that, if you haven't, and based on your market, maybe you haven't, but, certainly you need to be prepared because winter started off early. A lot of places that haven't seen snow, probably, at some point you're going to get some snow. But Eric brought up a point, and I wanted to reiterate a little bit on that. Was they always do like a site evaluation, and they'll take his crew around and let them physically see the sites on, like, he mentioned like where the drains are at and where and that is all very important, no doubt about it. But I would like to add to that a little bit and say, if you're not using some type of software, and that's okay, where you can have pictures within that software of, hey, here's where the snow goes, here's where the uh, uh, drains are at, here's where the handicap parking ramps are at. Things that when you look at a job on a day where there's no snow are very obvious, but you put 3 or 4 or 5 inches of snow on a lot, you don't see any of it. We have in all of our trucks a binder that has pictures of all the sites. We call Plowing by the Book. I actually did an article for one of the major magazines several years ago. It's called Plowing by the Book. Probably look it up if you want to. But basically what it is just a binder of all the accounts we have and where the obstacles are within each property. Where the handicap ramps are, where the parking stoppers are located. Again, where the water drains are located, where not to put the snow if that's an issue, or where to put the snow, and all the little things that just to make your life easier when you're out doing a job, when you're doing your snow. So that's something that you guys, if you have not implemented that, certainly implement it. If you got software where you can upload the pictures, then certainly, do that. But if not, use a book. It's simple. If you're going to a new site and you don't know where your drains are at or things are at, hey, you open it up and it's there. So, yeah, or gas rings that, if you're doing, yeah, those can get pretty expensive. Uh, yeah. Uh, Chad was talking about the gas rings. If you're doing places that sell fuel, I'm not talking about like a Wawa or Thornton's, but wherever they may have fuel for sale, is marking just anything that needs to be marked on a site. And so take the time. Your cameras make it easy now to go out and take the pictures and have those pictures available for yourself if it's just you, or for your drivers, whoever would need those things. So I just wanted to elaborate on that just a little bit. Like I said, we call Plowing by the Book, but just makes it easy. And then if you got to get onto a property and help somebody with something you're not sure about, you can hop on and where things are at. So, and I will say, even with pictures, man, there used to be a place right down the street from us. It was a motel. It used to be Motel 6. Hell, it still might be Motel 6, but they call it something different now. But this is one of the reasons we don't do call-in work, because, and it's another problem in itself. But because you don't know where the drains are at, you don't know where the speed bumps are at, and you're trying to do this work and help somebody, and then you hit something, and now the money that you've generated by plowing the property or salting the property, you've spent in repairing a damn speed bump or whatever it is that you tore up. So another thing that these pictures are really good for is preseason damage. And that's something, and I can't reiterate enough on that. Is your documentation of that curb being tore up prior to the first snowfall. Now, we use that when we're talking to a new customer about snow. That's one of the things we use in our sales presentation, saying, hey, I don't know if our competitors doing this, but we take pictures so we know where things are at. Now we're not telling them that, hey, we're also using this for preseason documentation of that curb tore up, or that whatever it may be, speed bump messed up, whatever it may be. But those are your pre-existing condition pictures too. So when they come back to you next March or April, whenever your season ends in your market, and they say, "Man, y'all did a really great job on our snow this year, but we got some damage on some of the curbs," then you've got those pictures. And that's where cell phones have made this really easy to do now. It was a pain in the ass when you used to have to go around with a little Instamatic camera. I remember doing that, Daniel. I really did. You'd walk around with a camera taking pictures and trying to figure tr- trying to figure out what's good, what's bad, and what's tore up, what you tore up, what was already tore up. That's the advantage you get with those pictures. So that's something you may want to take a look at it. And even if you hadn't been doing it, but it's certainly something you can start today. You know, uh, is doing that. So hey, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. That's something I saw in Cops yesterday, Daniel. This is kind of funny, and whether you like the show or don't like the show doesn't matter. But I was watching it, and they caught these guys, and they're asking them where they got their money. And the guy said, the cop asked him if he's been selling drugs. He says, "No." He said, "I've been mowing lawns all day." And I'm like, there you go. There's the stereotype, been mowing lawns all day. So we get penalized.
And he had a good chance if he didn't find anything on him of believing him, right?
Yeah.
But if he said, "No, I've been at the courthouse being a lawyer for somebody," be like, "No, you're a liar."
So I don't know. So I don't know if you ever felt like that or not, but sometimes you do get a little bit of cash on you. But these guys had some drugs with them too, so they did have a little trailer and a couple push mowers on it. Now, it actually, other than carrying the drugs around, it reminded me of me back in like 1980. I'm trying to think when it was. Early 80s, 83. I think it was 1983 or 2 when I got my first trailer, and it was a snowmobile trailer I bought. Might have been 82. It was a snowmobile trailer. Never forget it. However long they are, 9 feet or something, but they was about 3 feet wide. And yeah, but it was perfect for what I had because I had a 32-inch bunting lawnmower and 2 push mowers, and it fit on there just perfect, man. And I thought, man, that could have been me getting stopped, going around.
Oh dear.
doing my 10 yards or 11 yards, and cops say, "Well, yeah, I do." Well, I'm cutting grass, man. But yeah, that I don't know. It did bring back some funny memories. So, but yeah, the guy said he was out cutting grass. That's where he got his cash. And then the cop proceeded to say, "Man, but you got several $100 there. Must be pretty good business to be in." And then that led to, we're going to search you, and then that led to the cocaine and or crack or whatever the hell they had. But um, never be ashamed of what you do. That's the point. I don't know if the guy was uh, uh, ashamed or not ashamed or just trying to escape, but hey, be proud about what you do, man. That's just it, and if you do it professionally, whether you're doing it on a very small scale or a very large scale, it doesn't matter. Do it professionally. Have pride in what you're doing. That's something my dad taught me, was about pride, and it was through my grandfather, which I never met. My dad's dad, Daniel, you've heard this story. He didn't have, he wasn't no high powered kind of job. He steamed out whiskey barrels. But, like my dad said, he said he took pride in what he did, and he did a good job, and he did his job, and, he liked what he did. And Seth says he probably wasn't doing bi-weekly cuts going around. Yeah. Probably a little more frequently, Seth, if he was checking on his customers. But it's very important to have pride in what you're doing, regardless of what it is, you know. And that acronym of professional results and daily efforts, my dad came up with, and we actually utilize that on our website now. If you go to our website, you'll see that, professional results and daily efforts. And because none of us are going to be perfect, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And that every time I say that, I think that's probably not the best analogy to use these days. You know, PETA and all that listening. But the point is, we all got different things on how we do what we do. But hey, just take pride. Take pride in what you're doing and know that it's going to be okay. Have professional courtesy. And I do want to talk a little bit about professional courtesy for a minute. Um, I think professional courtesy goes a long way toward business success. And whether that courtesy goes to your employees, if you got employees, subcontractors, suppliers, vendors that you're buying from, your dealers that you're working with. I think sometimes what happens to us as a whole, we forgot what got us to a certain point in our life, and that's different for every one of us, But again, I'm gonna go back to my mom. My mom always told me two things. Said number one is that, and and you're going to say, Wayne, how's this have to do with professional courtesy? And if you just wait for it, I'll get there, I promise. But my mom used to always say, it doesn't cost anything to be clean, because my mom was a stickler on us making our bed, keeping our rooms cleaned up. And at the time, I thought it was just being a pain in the butt. But the reality of it was she was just teaching me that I'm getting something accomplished. And this was way before that book was ever written by that admiral, whoever wrote it, about, the first thing you need to teach your kids to do is make their bed every day, because they've had a sense of accomplishment. And that was something my mom was doing back in the 60s. So, well before that guy was probably even born. But the whole point is, my mom always said it doesn't cost anything to be clean. And she said saying thanks doesn't cost you anything. And that relationship with professional courtesy and letting people know that you appreciate what they do for you and how they're an integral part of your success, and your success is no different than mine, in the point that we all count on each other. We all count on each other. And whether you're a one truck operation, multi crew company, fill in the blank on what kind of business it is. It applies to all business. Turfs Up Radio, fill in the blank, right? This is not industry specific. It's any business. Any business. And you say, well, Wayne, what the hell does that have to do with it? Doesn't cost you anything to be clean, and thanks doesn't cost anything. The reality of it is, all of those things go back to pride, number one, but telling people that you appreciate what you do for them. I tell Stephen West to tell you, Mary Jo, just a few. Our dealer that we work with predominantly, whether Bluegrass Lawn and Garden, Jim and Kenny out there and their whole family, they always tell them thanks, appreciate it. Because realistically, you've got a lot more partners than you believe you have. Is that fair, Daniel? Is that a fair statement?
It's the supply chain, right? Like everybody is a part of, it's a part of your supply chain, if you will, is a part of your success or failure.
Everybody's a link.
Drive the semi that drops the load of salt off is, part of your supply chain.
Yeah.
Does the flags, that boxes the flags up for your yard signs is part of your supply chain. Everybody, it's like being self-made or one man operation millionaire it's very, very unlikely that that's the case, especially in this business.
Yeah, true that. True that. He says, I bet the landscaper had pretty good route density. True that. Oh my God, yeah. But it is. It's one counts on the next, and I bring that up just so each and every one of you all that are listening can, next time you see, your employees, your vendors, your suppliers, anybody that you're working with, just say thanks. Hey man, I appreciate what you do for us, because they appreciate you. You appreciate them. The relationship's got to be somewhat personal. You can say, well, no, I don't have any personal relationships. Well, you do and you don't. I mean, no, you're not married to them, more than likely. In some situations, maybe so. But the reality of it is they're business relationships. But, you know, it goes back to something my dad used to say in selling all the time. And it seems like a lot of this goes back to the sales process, that he said, it's service after the sell that consummates the relationship. It's not getting the customer to say yes. Yes, getting to the yes is the beginning, but it's the follow through after the fact. And I think a lot of times we forget who brought us to the dance, if you will, and know that the last dance has always got to be with the person that you came with. And that means let's have a little professional courtesy. Let's thank our employees. Let's thank our subcontractors. Let's thank our suppliers. Fill in the blank on who's important, an integral part of your success. And integral, to Daniel's point, is everybody in that chain. And I didn't even think of going down line to the guy delivering mulch or salt. But I mean, any of y'all ever been around here, when we've got a delivery, we always tell the guy, hey man, we appreciate you bringing our mulch or bringing our salt, or appreciate you getting it here.
Or the mailman, or
The
you
milkman.
could go. There's so many. Like, did you make the boots you wear out in the field? No, somebody had to make those. Hopefully, they took pride in what they did and made a good pair of boots, so you go out there and have protected feet. So it's not like you're gonna find that person and go thank you. Like, you're not gonna send every single person a card or whatever, but like, there's so many more people involved in your success than you probably would ever even think about.
Right. So that'll be part of that's part of the goal, is to two things today. We'll get into these two things today. Number one is understanding your break even point. We talked about that in the beginning of my show. And then also, the second thing for today will be understanding that professional courtesy goes a long way toward a long term relationship with somebody. And a long term relationship means you've got loyalty. And when you've got loyalty, different things begin to happen within your business all the way around. And that loyalty can look a lot of different ways, honestly. I mean, it really can. But the reality of it boils down to this: satisfaction is important, whether it's through employees, subcontractors, suppliers, vendors, etc. But loyalty is priceless. Satisfaction is important, but loyalty's priceless. And when you begin to understand that process and you throw the ego side of your own mindset out of the way and understand that it's everybody within your food chain, if you will, everybody, that saying thank you doesn't cost anything. and being clean doesn't cost you anything. And there's a lot of different ways to be clean. And would, metaphorically speaking, would that be the right way to say that, Daniel? Just
yeah.
not
Go after.
Not it smells clean, you know, not it smells clean, but just clean in general, just doing things the right way. And I think my mom was right on target with that. That says, hey, yeah, in a strict sense of the word, yes, keeping things clean and straight doesn't cost. You know, that's just pride. Okay. But and saying thank you doesn't cost. That's just your pride getting out of the way a little bit for a minute and saying, hey, you know what? I bust my ass to build this business and it's all on me. And I'm why this is great. And I'm why this is what it is. No, absolutely not, man. You've forgotten a whole lot. And that mindset, although it seems really convenient, it's not a mindset that's going to allow your company to be as great as it can be. And by great, I don't mean big or huge or being a True Green of the world or a Brightview of the world. Heck, be a one truck operation, but be great. Be great at what you do. You know, greatness has nothing to do with size. Greatness is a mindset. But you got to get yourself in the right mindset and share that mindset with the right people within your circle. It's kind of like this thing I keep up behind my desk. It's a picture of a lion, and it says it's not the size of your circle, but the loyalty of those within it. And 100% buy into that. I 100% buy into that. I'm not saying you got to. To me, that is the reality. It's not how many relationships we have. It's not how many people we have that we think are our friends or our suppliers or our partners in business, but it's who really is loyal to us. Who are we really loyal to? And what are we all seeing because of those advantages? And what we're all seeing because of it is additional profit dollars. That's what we all see. So take the time to say your thanks. Take the time to keep your business clean. And remember, profit's not a dirty word. We'll see you Wednesday.